I was listening to some more of Soul for Happy, and it's really made me think. It was talking about what you are because you are not your thoughts. And so the way he describes it is you cannot be what you can observe. And because you can listen to your thoughts, therefore you are not your thoughts, which of course makes sense. I agree. So I thought about it some more on my own. And if we are not our thoughts, that means we are the listener of our thoughts. Our body is an experience machine. It gives us feedback when things happen and it runs the natural courses. For example, when you drive a car, you don't tell the car how to turn the wheels, you don't tell the car how to move the gas from the tank to the through the car to turn it into energy, just like you don't tell your body to breathe, you don't tell your body to digest. It's built with a set of functions. It can be damaged, it can be worked on and improved. It can take you places based on your inputs, and it gives you feedback on the situation of the system, but you are not the car. You can listen to the feedback the car gives you. You can look at where the car is. You can decide where the car goes, but you are not the car. Just like you are not your body, but your body is your lifetime vehicle with much more precise feedback on what has happened, where it is, what's going on, and the information you can receive on the situation of the car. So if that's the case, then so if that is the premise of the following thought experiment, then what is the conclusion we come to in terms of what that means for us? Well, the first thing is that just because we think something, just because the voice in your head says something, does not mean that is what we should hold close to us, what we should take as part of our identity, what we should take as our paradigm. We should understand that it is just another suggestion by the machine. For example, maybe your computer has a notification saying, there's a software update available for this application on the device. It's just a piece of information. Maybe you don't actually use that software, so you don't listen to that thought, right? So if that's the case, what does this mean for happiness? Well, the first thing is, if your car gets damaged in this situation, it's probably not going to be good for you. Okay? So we should make sure our car is in good condition and set up to stay in good condition over a long period of time. And what else? Well, we should make sure it stays fueled. We should make sure it stays charged. And we should make sure we don't let it sit unused for too long or it'll rust. But what then is the question about happiness? Well, the first thing is that we need to understand that doing things we feel like doing won't bring us happiness. Doing the things that will feel worth it is what we have to do. But you have to be careful about what you define as worth it. If you set a goal for yourself as your primary goal, like the one goal that you set everything aside for as making X amount of money, it's probably not going to work out for you, because money is just a measurement of trade. Now, you will need money because you will have money problems, but you should understand that once you have enough money to solve your money problems, more money won't solve your non-money problems. Now, I don't have enough money to solve all of my money problems, so I do need more money. I do need to work on making more money without ideally sacrificing other things that I value as well in an ideal world. But so how do we set our goals then? What should we focus on? Well, I suppose I should listen to the rest of the book for that. So I'll just move on to the next topic. It's a very interesting thought experiment because, like, for example, right, it's like when you stand on the earth, you can't observe what earth truly is. You can make inferences based on observable information. You can deduce that the earth is round. You can explore it to the ends of it, but only when you're off the earth can you truly observe it. We can see the sun, we can see the planets, we can see the moon because we are not on them. We can see another person, other people, and we can look at the mirror. But when you look at the mirror, you don't go, oh, so that's me. You go, that's what I look like. That's what other people see when they see me. But that's when you talk and you hear yourself talk, that's not the same as other people hearing you talk, because you're hearing the echo in your bones and you're within your head. When you think to yourself, that's think to yourself that it is your thoughts being expressed by your brain to the self, what you truly are, the listener. It's a very interesting reframing of thought. And so the other thing is that is very relevant, and I have mentioned it before, but I'm just going to connect the two things for the sake of it, is that your negative experiences are not events alone. Your negative experiences are what you think about an event. For example, when you think about something that's happened in the past, it's not actually the event itself. Okay, let's say someone cheated you of $20 in the past. The event is that you lost $20. And then the thought that triggers your negative emotion when you think of the event. Oh, what the the thought that triggers the negative emotion is, I was cheated, or damn, he just never paid me back, or I got scammed, or it's the event and then the thought that triggers your negative emotion. So when you realize that and decide that the thought is just a thought, like a sentence that's spoken by your tool, right? So it's like you have a set of tools. You have your physical body that can, move things. You have your subconscious, which can give you all urges. It's biological, right? It's like all sorts of urges, desires, motivation, hunger, or not hunger, but like there's so much information in your subconscious, and then the conscious mind, which is your logical tool. It is a tool. Your conscious mind, and the one that speaks the thoughts, is just meant to be the one who has the ability to take a problem and solve it logically. Not all problems can be solved logically, and so when you're not using it to solve logical problems, and it's feeding you messages that give you negative negative thoughts, you just have to go, listen, that's not your job, right? Well, I mean, I say that, but I'm really just relaying what the book said. I haven't put this, I haven't like incorporated this into my life, but this is basically what the book is saying. And it makes sense, but, it does take practice. Or it will take practice. I do plan to see what I can do with it. Recently, I have managed to think less negative thoughts in general, but not, when I say recently, I don't really mean like the past several hours. I mean like over the course of the past few months. So it wasn't directly from the book itself, but it is a good book. I'm not even that far in. Anyways, let me check my notes for other topics. Yes. Okay, so in the experience and in terms of problem solving, making decisions, if you have, I say you have to, but like when I say you have to, I don't mean the listening. What I really mean is I'm talking to me, right? It's like I have to when I say this. But you have to understand that if you're not getting the results you want, and the thing about the results is that you have to measure results in terms of the direction and velocity and not location, right? So it's like, for example, let's say you live in let's say you live in South America, and you wish you were in Canada, right? Just as an example. So you can't go, like if you're trying to reach Canada and you start making the trip. Let's just say there was no planes or whatever, and let's say you were on bike or something, and you make it to Texas, and you're like, you can't measure your results by saying I'm not in Canada, therefore I'm not getting results. It's I'm closer to Canada, therefore I'm happy with my results. But if you end up in like Argentina, I think Argentina is like at the south of Brazil. I don't know fucking geography. Let's say you end up somewhere further away from Canada. Then you gotta go. The results don't work. All right, it's like that's how it's measured. Like if you have a 50 in the subject and you go, I want a 90, and you have a 60, that's good results. Obviously, it also depends on how long it took, but it is what it is. And if you have a 40, bad results. So what you have to do is once you understand once you have the right metrics, then you go, am I okay with the speed I am at? I am achieving these results? And if no, then maybe you have to work faster. Or so basically it's speed and direction. These are the two measurements for results. And if you're happy with them, then keep doing what you're doing. If you're not happy with them, then you have to change what you're doing. So it's obvious, right? But like a lot of people will look at, when I say a lot of people, what I'm really talking about is me. Or I guess, yeah. So they'll look at the results, go, I don't like it, and then not think about how to change what they're doing to change the results, aka the velocity or the direction or both. So that's really what it is. It's like life is a set of functions. Functions mean that given certain inputs, you get certain outputs. Now, there are variables that are not in scope, but if you change the inputs, the outputs will be adjusted over time. Doesn't mean you always changing the inputs will always give you the desired output. But if you don't like the output, you should analyze your input. I should analyze my input. So it's obviously easier said than done. Like, because when you think you're in your own head, it's really difficult to be smart. I don't know. Like, I guess my brain is just not good enough. But it's like when you think about it, you look at it can be very difficult to identify the precise problem because of if you're looking at the abstract metrics. For example, if you don't like how you feel about yourself, and I'm using this example because it's personal, then the goal is to feel better about yourself. So your metric should be if you feel better about yourself than you did before. And if you're making progress in that direction, then keep doing. And that's what I'm working on. And I've made progress in this direction. And now I feel like I'm at a bit of a bottleneck, which is what, and the act of being in a bottleneck is trying to make me think more negatively, and I'm also just telling my brain to fuck off. But also I need to think about solutions for the bottleneck. But so that's kind of where I'm at right now, and kind of it's where I am right now. Personally. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Well, I guess this will be it for today. We'll see what I talk about tomorrow.